Because like my form right now has a thing of like, well, how much are you willing to pay to stay here? There's a field on it, right? And most people put either, they don't fill it out, that part. It's not a required field. Or maybe it is, I forget. But they usually put in that they want to do work trade or something like that. And it's like, I don't know you. I don't trust you. I'm sick of that shit. And I don't know that you can work worse shit. And often in these same forum, they say they have no skills, and sometimes they do. But, and then, you know, one guy was like $5 a night. He wants $5 a night for housing, shelter, food, activities, and a community. Fuck no. And so I don't even respond to those people anymore. I mean, they get zero response. I'm not even going to say to them, you're rejected because you're not willing to contribute anything. And I'm going to make a new form instead that maybe has nothing to do with here. Doesn't say where I am or who I am. And ask people about their ethics and their values and how they, you know, resolve conflicts and what philosophies they follow for communication, for whatever. You know, what dumbass idiot things do they believe. And then I can rule them out. I want to get thousands of applications and then rule most people out for here. Now, they still may be appropriate for somewhere else. Like, for example, somebody who's a militant vegan, and there is a person who's organizing vegan communities, but she's really into veganism, and if you're not vegan in that community, then you're just Satan, you know? You're horrible. You're a murderer. And that kind of person should not be here. That doesn't mean I dislike vegans. The ones who are like that, I think, are ridiculous and incompatible with most of reality, but but I don't think that their diet is a problem. I think it's healthy potentially, and if they want to do that, that's great. But you know, I had a different guy talk to me recently, and he's really into eating meat. Wants to have like meat eating festivals, and you know, have a primarily meat-based diet. But that's going to be very expensive, also. So, you know, he better be willing to pay for that. And it's interesting. As much as I wasted my time talking to him, I only say that because, you know, he should be filling out a form. I shouldn't have personal conversations with thousands of people to filter them out and kind of show my own hand, you know. So, like, is he willing to pay to have a super carnivore diet? Or does he want somebody else to? And almost everybody who contacts me currently wants to come for free. That's a fundamental problem. And they're not people who are poor. They're people who travel the world. But they're just looking, I mean, they're assholes. They don't know that. And they come across as really sweet, nice, attractive people. But they're not. They're ugly. Inside, they're ugly as hell, and they don't see how the systems in the world work for oppression and injustice, and what part they play in that. So, I don't know if just a questionnaire is good enough, but I can definitely invite people at a limited level to things maybe not even here. Maybe there's many sites around the world, and some of them accept new people, and some of them don't. That makes sense to me. I guess I shouldn't even publish this video. This should be private. Because for some people, if they're not invited to something, they get really pissed off. They think that they just own the whole fucking world and everyone should invite them to everything. And if you didn't invite them, then you're rejecting them. And you're being bigoted against them for whatever made up reason. You know? But I don't owe anybody anything. I don't owe anybody my time, my space, my home. You know? I mean, I know people who have stopped renting their house because they couldn't get rid of bad renters. And laws got passed in some jurisdictions where you can't get rid of somebody who's renting in your own home, and they're creeping you out and you don't feel safe in your own home. And these laws make it so there's less housing available because people don't have control of their homes. Someone can essentially be squatting in your own home. And that's why I've been alone for a long, long time. because I don't trust people. And I'd like to change that. I got to figure out a way to change that. And I know that I'm not alone in feeling that way. A lot of people feel alone in this world, and they are. Loneliness is probably at an all-time high, at least in many places. And the division among people is so immense. And it is strange that I'm suggesting a divisive method of selecting people more carefully to come here. Selecting who I want in my life and what rules we have for each other. You know, what rules do I live by? What culture do I have? And only be with compatible people. That actually makes us have more freedom. I think I made that point enough. Goodbye.